You've worked hard, you've saved well, and now you have the opportunity to give back. And that's a great position to be in, and one that a lot of people have the opportunity to and often prioritize. But is it better to give that money while you're still living to help people out, help charities, family, whatever it is? Or is it better to leave a legacy? Dennis and his team help people make that decision every single day. We're going to talk through that process with Dennis, how to find out that answer, and more importantly, how to figure out what's best for you. Welcome in. This is Dollars with Dennis. Glad to have you with us once again. And we got a good conversation today talking about should you leave your legacy after you pass, or should you be giving while you're still alive so you can enjoy that? And I think this would be an interesting conversation because I know you have a good perspective on this, Dennis, because faith is obviously important to you, important to your clients as well. And I'm sure giving gifts is a big part of that faith and what people hope to accomplish with their money.
Absolutely. It's a big subject, it's a big topic, and there's no right answer. There's no one size fits all, but we want to first make sure people are covered. Are you going to give money now? Or are you going to leave a legacy? We want to make sure that your needs are covered because we get this question a lot. And so making sure your retirement needs are covered first are the most important thing. So plan for longevity, plan for health care, for inflation emergencies. We talked a little bit about that in the last episode. If you're married, make sure your wife, your husband, your spouse's needs are taken care of. If they outlive you, my wife always says I'm going to outlive her. I think that's a plan. I'm not sure it's a real. I'm not a guy with that one either to do that. But once your foundation is secure, then you can give in confidence and not have fear, and that's important. So many people will ask the question, should I help my kids here? Should I do this? And they're not sound themselves in their own financial stuff. So my pet peeve is, and might be guilty of as well, is having our adult kids on our cell phone plan, and they're out working their own jobs, making their own money, and we're still covering their expenses, and maybe our budget isn't as tight as it should be, and so that's always a bad. Dave Ramsey's a big proponent of saying, do not help your kids until you can make sure you can help yourself first. And I think I listened to an episode where he had a call in where somebody wanted to pay for college rather than their kid going into debt. He's like, so how's your retirement plan look? If you have to go in debt when you're in retirement, who's going to bail you out? Your kids have plenty of time to get there. So make sure you're taken care of first. Your plan's intact, and we can certainly help with that.
Yeah, that's the first thing you have to do, right? I mean, you have to make sure that you're taken care of because to your point, look, it's great to be able to help out others, but you only have one chance to get your retirement right, and you don't have as much time to recover from big mistakes or from giving money away. So, I mean, that's got to be the first thing, and I'm sure that's probably the conversation you have, I guess, or probably the follow up question you have, or the process that you work through when somebody says, "Hey, Des, I'm ready to start giving some money, or I'm considering gifting to this person or that charity." You go back through and just make sure all their numbers look right, correct?
Yeah, absolutely. You got to know what that budget is. That's probably the best thing is to set an overall gifting budget on an annual basis. Be part of your plan so you know that you can give there. The impact now is very appealing to a lot of people because they can see the results. If I help my kids now, I can see how they use that money, if you will, to do that and so forth. Versus when we're gone, we don't see it. The other part of it is some people don't have enough money to go around as it is. So giving before you can do that is a challenge. And spiritually, I believe you got to give 10%. Church should be the first thing in line, but there's so many needs and wants in our world today. We can go there, but to have that confidence to give and give, whether it's now, later, or when we're gone, comes down to knowing what money you have and what surplus you have to give makes a big difference.
So that's kind of the first spot to have that discussion when you're trying to make the decision on do you want to give now or leave a legacy. But I think the second thing to consider is, what is your motivation, right, Dennis? Some people think that through. Some people know they just want to give back. But either way, helping and clarifying what that motivation is will help you lean one direction or the other, right?
Correct. Tax rules today allow you to give $19,000 a year without touching on the gift tax limit and $38,000 as a couple. There's expenses that you can pay for that don't impact that, but in general, you can give a good bit amount of money away each year. But if it ruins your retirement plan, that's not a good thing to do. But here's a common, not common, but we've had several clients that have come in and said, when mom and dad passed, we got X amount of dollars, and sure, that was great, but we got it when we were much older and really didn't need it as much then. We could have used it when our kids were young and we were struggling and stuff like that. And so in that right environment, and they want to do that and turn around and help with their kids, then they can see how it helps them and how it impacts them. And I'm often surprised somebody that's that thoughtful about what they're giving and to who, what the kids do with the money, and consistently the kids that get money from mom and dad while they're alive do the same thing mom and dad did with the money. They start saving it, et cetera. So that tree doesn't fall far. That nut doesn't fall far to the tree, they say. But being able to see the results of that is a good thing. And the motivation: do you want to help people now, or do you want to leave a legacy? How do you want to be remembered when you're gone? That can be just as important. There's so many good charities out there that want to uh, help parts of our world. We're very fortunate here in the United States to be overblessed in a lot of ways. And so, how do we want to use those blessings? How do we want to help other people? That can be part of your legacy, and there's ways to get there for that.
Yeah, absolutely. So clarify that motivation. You kind of touched on the rules a little bit, and I think that's the next thing is really understanding the rules and things that you can do that will benefit you and make it more efficient when giving that money. And you talked about the gift rule, but there's other ways to give money while you're still living too that kind of stay within the rules, but also can provide some extra benefits.
Good point. Is that we do not give tax advice here because we're not accountants, but we get those questions all the time. So when you turn 70 and a half from IRA qualified money, non-tax money, if you will, you can give a qualified charitable deduction for giving money from that IRA at 70 and a half. And when you're 73 and you have to do required minimum distributions, those can go to qualified charities directly, and you get a tax benefit for doing that. The charity doesn't pay taxes on it. So it's a big part of our planning is how can we help the places we want to help and not hurt our own financial place. So if we can do it within the tax rules, I think that's very important for a lot of people. And doing a contribution from your IRA directly to a nonprofit is one way to reduce your tax bill in a world where we feel like taxes take up a lot of our money as well. So using those rules to your advantage. And if you're already given, maybe and you're that age, you might want to just shift. We're coaching clients where that money should come from. You're already given to your church. Maybe take it from your IRA and give it directly. That way, you get a tax benefit there. Tax rules change all the time. The deductions we're not. Most people don't itemize anymore. Get a unified credit. This is one way to take advantage of that. And if you think you're in that category, you can ask us. But better yet, even ask your accountant on what and how should I be giving money to where I want to give it to.
Yeah, it's great to give, but you want to make sure you're doing that most effectively and you're giving as much of your money as possible to the people that mean the most to you. The last thing here to consider if you're making this decision is just weighing the impact of what these gifts will mean. And I think for a lot of families, right, it's, hey, is it a good idea to give that money now to children or whoever? Can they benefit from that? Are they able to handle that money? And then for charities or organizations that you want to give it to as well, right, is trying to decide big national versus local. There's the impact that money's going to have. You want to make sure it goes to the right spot.
So true. And the charities are out there. So local, my preference is always local first because I can see the impact or where it's going, that kind of stuff. And to children, so the attorneys that write the trust documents, I have many clients that have family trust, and usually when money's going to kids when you pass on, a lot of times the language is in there that they don't receive that money until they're 30 or 35. And in fact, my kids I tell them they won't get any money until they're 35. And they're like, well, we won't need it then, Dad. And the thought is they'll be more mature, so we can see what that they make mistakes when they're young, that kind of stuff. Maybe they're not mature at 35. Hopefully it's sooner than that. But we give them chances to become better organized with their money as they get older. Um, Very few people give back money when they receive it from at 35 or 30, whatever the age is. They will, but giving to the places you want to give, control where you go, and I think is impactful to your life. I mean, if I died today and had a statue outside that said I help people, that'd be great, but I wouldn't be here to see it. So I don't really care what happens after I'm gone. I want to see some of the impact today of how I give money and where we do it. And actually, on our website, you'll see several of the charities that we support. To go there to do that, and many of them are local, but some of them are national as well. One of the things with charity, I always try to find out what their give rate, take rate is. How much actually ends up going to helping that charity, because some are better than others. So that's one thing I personally always ask a charity when I'm giving it: what's their give rate? How much ends up going to the end users? Because I want to make sure more money gets there than not. To do that, using the tax rules to get there is important. And do you want to be recognized for it, or do you want it to be anonymous? And that today's world, it's almost, you almost want to be anonymous because there's so many spam calls, scam calls, whatever you want to call them. Just anytime your name goes somewhere, everybody thinks to get it. So I warn people that how they do that is probably important. So I would probably, if I'm going to do it and have my name attached to it, I want that to happen after I'm gone, so I don't have to hear about it.
Yeah, 100%. I get spam emails, calls, texts all day, every day. It's pretty frustrating. But to kind of wrap this up, Dennis, I know this is something to celebrate. If you're in a position where you are able to give money and you're thinking about that, that is a great spot to be in. I know if that's something that somebody's considering right now, Dennis, it's a great opportunity to talk about that with you and your team. I mean, that's something to sit down and begin a conversation about, isn't it?
It is, absolutely, because knowing what you can give and what you can't give, and how much is there, what your plan is, we can help with all those things. Getting your, put your ducks in a row, because you don't want to give before you can afford to give. So we can help with that. We love to sit down with people. So reach out, call us, go online, hit our website, and let us know how we can help.
There you go. Well, if you want to make that decision with clarity and confidence, again, 401k.faith. All the contact info is in the show description, so please check that out. And if you've enjoyed this video, found this helpful, please subscribe as well. We'd appreciate that support. That'll do it for us here on Dollars with Dennis, another episode in the books. Dennis, thanks for your time as always. Have a good week.
Thank you.
Securities and investment advisory services offered through Osaic Wealth, Inc., member FINRA SIPC. Osaic Wealth is separately owned, and other entities and/or marketing names, products, or services referenced here are independent of Osaic Wealth.